Another No Kings protest happened the other weekend, and pretty much ever since these No Kings protests began, I've seen discourse about how these protests actually solve nothing, and at the end of the day, they're just peaceful demonstrations that don't actually challenge power, and they express dissent in a way that doesn't meaningfully demand change from lawmakers. And yeah, I'm not going to entirely disagree. I think the most effective protests are the ones where real civil disobedience occur, like blocking traffic so ICE vans can't get through. Unfortunately, inconvenience and disorder gets the message heard the loudest. But I also don't want to be completely cynical in response to these protests like quite a few online leftists have been, and dismiss the protests as just liberal nonsense. Because I still do like that there is some effort to express dissent against this current administration. Yes, it may be just holding up signs and chanting at the end of the day, but the most recent round of No Kings protests across the country had 7 million people in total in attendance. And shit has not even completely hit the fan yet. We are on the precipice of people getting cut off on their SNAP benefits. People are going to get thrown off of their Medicaid, thanks to the big beautiful bill. We have yet to see the real ramifications of this second Trump administration, and when those ramifications are felt, then you get to see how pissed off people can get. It ties back into what I've ranted about a million times already on this channel. A lot of people in this country do not give a single fuck what happens, who is suffering, until they themselves are directly impacted. It sucks, but hey, that's just the apathetic hellhole we live in. But the fact that there is already this amount of momentum as demonstrated by these protests gives me, I don't know, a twinge of hope that the energy these rallies have can be built off of for future demonstrations in the future that take place when people are faced with the negative ramifications of this administration that are coming their way. The one issue I do have with the No Kings protests, and something I absolutely agree with the critics on, is the fact that there is no distinct message of these protests. Sure, many of these protest goers express real, valid reasons to hate Trump, like him being a pawn for the billionaire class, and signing the 1%'s tax cuts into law, and gutting the social safety net that millions of regular citizens in this country depend on to pay off the tax cuts these rich fucks received, or emboldening ICE to detain people who are in this country legally based on their skin color, or his support of Israel, or a litany of other perfectly valid reasons to hate this piece of shit. I get that, but the message gets muddied by liberals who attend these protests and hold signs that literally say, "We'd be off to brunch if Kamala was in office right now." Like what Kamala's husband did at one of these rallies, basically saying, "We don't give a shit about anything besides fuck Trump." That's why going forward there needs to be a clear message, especially after people lose their SNAP benefits, get thrown off Medicaid, or have their safety net destroyed by this administration in any other way. And it has to be, at least partly, this administration does not give a single shit about regular people. It only does the bidding of the ultra wealthy. None of this "we'd rather be off to brunch" bullshit, because who the fuck does that energize? But yes, in a vacuum, I don't necessarily mind demonstrations that are nothing more than holding up signs and chanting and marching around. Even if in the end those demonstrations alone don't bring about substantive change, I just like it when people voice their dissent in general against a corrupt administration. But like I said at the beginning of this video, I do prefer protests where real disobedience occurs, and I think peaceful demonstrations like these No Kings protests work best when practiced in tandem with demonstrations that engage in real disobedience and inconvenience and, riots. Oh no, he's mentioning rioting again. Yes, I'm all for rioting in the name of a good cause. It's been 5 years since I first espoused this opinion. Get over it already. One, it just ups the amount of people demonstrating for a good cause. I'm sorry, not everyone has the bravery to block traffic or engage in any other sort of inconvenience, or torch cars, or break windows of establishments. Call them pansies all you like, and lump me in with them too. But that's just not how everyone rolls. But I think peaceful protesting, in lieu of the rioting and the civil disobedience, is effective because it showcases a large swath of people are protesting against an injustice. A large amount of people demonstrating in different types of ways makes it more difficult to shift your attention away and dismiss them all as rioters, looters, agitators. I know, the right-wing propaganda machine, every single time there is a protest against a cause or a figure they support, will work tirelessly to paint every single protester, even if they're just out holding some signs up, up as someone burning down a Target or some shit. But regular people who aren't as plugged into the propaganda mill may realize that not every single protester is doing that, especially if they observe some peaceful demonstrations that may occur in their neighborhood. And perhaps from observing that not every single protester is a violent agitator, they may become more sympathetic to the cause. And that's why I think peaceful demonstration, and not so peaceful demonstration, can work hand in hand, and one does not need to discount the other. Yes, I would love to see these No Kings protests become more aggressive, and I feel like that will happen when people's social safety net is fucked with even more. And when that happens, I'm not going to blame a single person for going out and breaking some shit, or engaging in any other type of demonstration they wish. That's all I have to say. Bye-bye.